Now that you have the right tools and a willing assistant, it's important that you use them effectively. In the past, one of the major stumbling blocks to managing your paper was the physical frustration of making the files. We're going to show you how easy it is to solve that problem. Then we'll start taming your paper tiger with the paper on top of your desk. We'll set the traps and establish paths to lead that paper tiger exactly where you want him.
There are a few simple steps you must take to get started. The first step in taming the paper tiger is to create one or more locations. A location is simply a physical place where you file things. For example, the location for the files you use often, what we will call action files, may be the file drawer beside your desk. Your filing location for files you may not need as often, called reference files, might be in a file cabinet in your office or down the hall. Put your files where they work best for you, but you will need to establish these locations in the Paper Tiger software. Adding a location is as simple as selecting the Location button, then New. You will then be asked a series of easy questions about your filing location, such as what do you want to name it, and how many files you want to set the location up to hold. For example, here we start out by creating a location called My Action Files. Once you've created a location in the software, the next step is to prepare the physical location for filing. We will start with the location for your action files, usually your desk drawer. Filing with the Paper Tiger is probably different from the way you filed in the past, in that the items you file will have a numbered label instead of a text label. There are many advantages to filing this way. One is that you can create file folders ahead of time, already labeled with a number, so that when you have a new item to file, an available file folder will already exist in your location. Are you worried about how you will know where to file an item if the folders aren't labeled with text? Don't be. The Paper Tiger software will tell you which folder to use when you file an item. To set up your temporary action files, insert Action tabs 1 through 20 and place the numbered tabs on the front of the empty file folders. This will reduce the time it takes to file and retrieve your papers. You can use the label printing function of the Paper Tiger software to create labels for your tabs, or you can simply number them by hand. When you've finished placing the tabs on your action files, place them in your desk drawer or the place you've designated. If your desk drawer already contains hanging files that require action, simply place the plastic tabs with the numbers on the front of those files. You can remove the text labels after you enter the file names into the Paper Tiger software. If your drawer contains files which don't require action, remove them to make room for your action files. You can sort them later. Be sure to allow space in the drawer for the files to expand as you file more papers. The Paper Tiger method recommends two types of action files, temporary and permanent. Temporary action files are projects or events you are currently working on or plan to that will come to an end. The filing location that you've just set up is for your temporary action files. Permanent action files are for papers requiring a specific ongoing action, such as call, pay, or take home. Unlike all other files in the Paper Tiger method, permanent action files will have text labels. You can place them in front of your temporary action files or in a file container on top of your desk. The last step in creating your action files is to put a tab labeled File Index at the very front of your action files. After you've set up your action files, create a location for reference files. If you have no existing filing system, or the one you have doesn't work, place the numbered tabs on the front of empty hanging files and insert them in the location you've designated for reference files. Remove any files you don't use. You can sort them later. At a minimum, insert reference tabs 1 through 20 into plastic tabs and place them on the front of the files. If your existing filing system works relatively well, simply add the numbered tabs to the existing files. You can remove the text labels after you enter the file names into the Paper Tiger software. Also, add numbered tabs to 20 empty file folders so you'll have a place for new files. Once again, be sure to allow space for adding papers to the files. As a general rule, open 20 new reference files at one time. If you begin to run out of space for reference files, but you're not ready to eliminate any files, you have two choices. You may add additional file cabinets to your reference location, or create a new location called Archives. Archives can range from cardboard boxes in the basement to commercial off-site storage. You can put the files you don't need very often in your archives, confident you can find them because you can still use the keyword search. Now that you or your assistant have set up your filing locations, you are ready to start filing. But first, place your inbox, outbox, and to file box within easy reaching distance. Congratulations! You're well on your way to taming your paper tiger.
Remember to start with the papers on top of your desk, not the old papers in stacks under the desk. The reason you have those papers on top of your desk is that they're important to you, so you'll get the most benefit if you start there. This process may make you feel uneasy, but it will work. Now that you have the tools you need for success and you know where to start, let's decide whether you need to keep that piece of paper at all.